I was sitting in the hospital waiting room, watching my younger brother Alex sleep after his motorcycle accident, when I realized we'd become strangers who happened to share the same last name. The call had come at 2 a.m. "Your brother's been in an accident," the nurse said. "He's stable, but you should come." I'd thrown on clothes and driven 40 minutes across town, my heart racing with fear and something else I couldn't name, guilt, maybe, or regret. Now, looking at Alex hooked up to monitors, his face bruised and his left arm in a cast, all I could think was, I don't really know this person. My own brother. The kid I used to build forts with, who used to follow me around everywhere, who used to think I was the coolest person in the world. When had we stopped talking about anything that mattered? When had we become two guys who exchanged sports updates and work complaints over obligatory holiday dinners? I was Daniel Murphy, 34, senior engineer at a tech company, the successful brother who had his life together. Alex was 29, still figuring things out. Freelance photographer, musician on weekends, the brother who worried our parents with his unpredictable income and risky hobbies like motorcycles. On paper, we were supposed to be close. Brothers, allies, each other's backup in life. In reality, we were performing brotherhood rather than living it. Alex stirred and opened his eyes, squinting in the hospital light. "Danny." He hadn't called me that since we were kids. "Hey man. How are you feeling?" Like I got hit by a truck. He tried to sit up and winced. "What time is it?" "About 6 in the morning. I've been here since 3. Alex looked surprised. "You didn't have to come. I'm fine." The fact that he was surprised I'd come to the hospital said everything about our relationship. Of course I'd come. He was my brother. But when was the last time I'd shown up for him in any meaningful way? "The doctor says you'll be okay," I said. "Couple broken ribs, the arm, some bruising. You were lucky." "Yeah, lucky." Alex stared at the ceiling. "Danny, there's something I need to tell you." My stomach clenched. "What?" "I wasn't just riding around when this happened. I was coming to see you." "At 1 a.m.? I'd been drinking. Not a lot, but enough that I shouldn't have been driving. I was upset about something, and I wanted to talk to my big brother." The words hit me like a physical blow. "What were you upset about?" Alex looked away. "Sarah and I broke up. 3 weeks ago. I know you never liked her, but it's been really hard and He trailed off. I hadn't even known he was dating someone seriously, let alone that they'd broken up. My brother had been going through heartbreak for 3 weeks, and I'd had no idea. "Alex, I'm sorry. I didn't know." "How could you? We don't really talk about that stuff." He was right, and the truth was devastating. We'd talk about work, about sports, about surface-level things. But emotions? Relationships? Real struggles? We'd somehow decided those topics were off-limits between us. "Why didn't you call me?" "About Sarah." Alex laughed bitterly. "When's the last time you and I had a real conversation, Danny? When's the last time either of us said anything that actually mattered?" I opened my mouth to answer and realized I couldn't remember. Years, maybe. We'd fallen into this pattern of keeping things light, keeping things safe, keeping our distance while pretending everything was fine. My little brother had been in pain, had needed me, and instead of calling, he'd gotten on a motorcycle while emotional and ended up here. The next few weeks became a series of awkward attempts to reconnect using all the wrong strategies. I started texting Alex more frequently, but my messages were generic check-ins. "How's the recovery going? Need anything? Physical therapy going okay?" He'd respond with equally surface-level answers, "Good." "Nah, I'm fine." "Yeah, it's fine." I tried planning brother activities, going to games, grabbing beers, shooting pool. Alex would show up, we'd have a decent time, but it felt forced. We'd talk about the game, about work, about anything except what was really going on in our lives. The worst was when I tried to give him advice about his recovery and his career. Alex had been struggling financially since the accident, unable to take certain photography jobs with his arm in a cast. I kept suggesting he consider more stable work, and offering to help him with his resume for corporate jobs. "I don't want a corporate job," he finally said during one of our stilted coffee meetings. "I like what I do. I'm just saying it might be good to have something reliable. More secure." "Like you mean?" "That's not what I meant." "Isn't it? You've always thought I should be more like you. More responsible, more predictable, more boring." The words stung because there was truth in them. I had always seen Alex's choices as immature, his lifestyle as irresponsible. I'd been the practical one, The one who planned ahead, who made safe choices. And I'd somehow convinced myself that made me the better brother. I don't think you're irresponsible, I lied.
Come on, Danny.
You've been judging my choices since we were teenagers. The music, the photography, the traveling, the relationships. You act like I'm this screw-up you have to worry about. He was right, and it hurt to hear. I'd been treating our relationship like I was his older brother in the worst way, protective but condescending, caring but controlling. The breaking point came when our parents asked me to talk to Alex about his lifestyle choices after the accident. They were worried about the motorcycle, about his finances, about his future. And they wanted me, the responsible son, to have a conversation with him. I agreed, thinking this was what being a good older brother meant. That night, I went to Alex's apartment with a whole speech prepared about safety and planning for the future. Mom and Dad are worried, I started. Alex's face immediately hardened. They sent you here. They're concerned about the motorcycle, about your financial situation. They think maybe this accident was a wake-up call.
A wake-up call to what?
To be more like you. To think about your safety. To maybe consider some stability. Alex stood up from his couch, favoring his still healing ribs.
Get out.
Alex, I'm trying to help.
No, you're trying to fix me.
Just like always. You think there's something wrong with my life that needs to be corrected. That's not true. When's the last time you asked me if I was happy? When's the last time you showed any interest in what I actually want, instead of what you think I should want? I stared at him, realizing I couldn't answer either question. You're not my father, Danny. You're supposed to be my brother. But instead of being on my side, you're always trying to change me. I left his apartment feeling like I'd failed at something fundamental, but I didn't understand what. I think I'm a terrible brother, I confessed to my friend Marcus over lunch the next week. And I don't know how to fix it. Marcus, who had a close relationship with his own brother, looked thoughtful. Terrible how? I explained the hospital incident, our failed attempts to reconnect, the blow-up over the lifestyle conversation. I love him, but we can't seem to connect. Every time I try to help, I make things worse. When's the last time you just accepted Alex for who he is?
The question stopped me cold. What do you mean?
I mean, when's the last time you engaged with his life without trying to improve it or change it? I couldn't remember, and that realization was devastating. That's how I found myself in Dr. Robert Sterling's office, a psychologist who specialized in male relationships and family dynamics. I'd found him through a desperate Google search, how to connect with your brother as an adult. Dr. Sterling was different from what I'd expected. Instead of clinical and formal, he was direct and relatable, with a kind of presence that made you feel like he understood male communication patterns. Tell me about Brotherhood, he said simply. I launched into my usual explanation, how I tried to look out for Alex, how I wanted to help him make better choices, how I felt responsible for his well-being as his older brother. Daniel, Dr. Sterling interrupted, you're describing a mentoring relationship, not a brotherhood. The observation hit hard. What's the difference? A mentor guides someone toward goals they think are best. A brother stands with someone as they pursue their own goals. Dr. Sterling leaned forward. I've been studying male-sibling relationships for 18 years, and I see this pattern constantly with older brothers. You've fallen into what we call the protector complex. He explained research from Cambridge University that had followed 2,400 male sibling pairs over 12 years. The brother pairs who maintained the strongest relationships into adulthood weren't the ones where the older brother protected or guided the younger one. They were the ones who developed mutual respect and genuine friendship. But isn't it natural for older brothers to look out for younger ones? There's a crucial difference between looking out for someone and trying to control their choices. Between caring about them and trying to manage them. Between being supportive and being parental. Dr. Sterling pulled out a research summary. Many older brothers operate from what we call the guardian model. They feel responsible for their younger brother's decisions and outcomes. But the research shows that adult brothers thrive under the alliance model, where they support each other as equals, regardless of age. My stomach sank as I recognized myself completely. I've been trying to parent Alex instead of befriend him. The guardian model creates resentful younger brothers and frustrated older brothers. You're constantly evaluating whether he's making good choices, and he feels like he can never earn your approval or respect as an equal. But I do respect him. Dr. Sterling gave me a knowing look. Do you respect his right to make choices you disagree with? Do you respect his definition of success, even if it's different from yours? The honest answer was no. I loved Alex, but I didn't respect his judgment. I thought my way was better, safer, more responsible. The Cambridge study found that adult brothers who treated each other as equals, regardless of birth order, reported higher relationship satisfaction, more frequent meaningful contact, and stronger emotional support than brothers who maintained hierarchical dynamics, Dr. Sterling continued. I thought about all my attempts to guide Alex, all my unsolicited advice, all the ways I'd positioned myself as the wiser older brother who knew better. I'd been suffocating our brotherhood with my good intentions. How is that working for both of you?
Terribly.
We'd gone from best friends to distant relatives because I couldn't stop trying to improve him. Changing 29 years of big brother habits felt like learning a completely new language, one where acceptance mattered more than advice. My first attempt was awkward. Instead of texting Alex about his recovery or offering help, I sent him a photo of something random, saw this ridiculous food truck called grilled cheese and nothing else. Made me think of your weird food obsessions. He responded immediately, "Dude, where is this? I need this in my life." It was the most enthusiastic response I'd gotten from him in months, and all I'd done was share something without trying to improve or help him. But breaking the protector habit was harder than I'd expected. When Alex mentioned he was stressed about a photography gig, my instinct was to offer solutions and backup plans. When he posted about financial struggles on social media, I wanted to lecture him about budgeting and stability. Instead, I forced myself to just listen. "That sounds really stressful," instead of "here's what you should do." "That client sounds like a nightmare," instead of "this is why you need a more stable career." The real breakthrough came when I had my own crisis. I'd been dealing with anxiety about a major project at work, and I was struggling more than I wanted to admit. The old Daniel would have hidden this from Alex, maintaining my image as the brother who had everything figured out. Instead, I called him and said, "Hey, I'm having a really rough time with something at work. Mind if I vent to my brother for a few minutes?"
Of course, man. What's going on?
I told him about the project, about the pressure, about how I was second-guessing myself and losing sleep. Alex didn't try to fix it or give me career advice. He just listened and said, "That sounds like absolute hell, Danny. Your boss sounds like a control freak." It was exactly what I needed to hear. "You know," Alex said after I'd talked for 20 minutes, "it's weird hearing that your life isn't as perfect as it always seemed."
What do you mean?
"I mean, growing up, you always had everything figured out. Good grades, good job, good everything. It made me feel like I was constantly falling short."
The words hit deep.
I'd never realized that my attempts to be the perfect older brother had made Alex feel inadequate. "Alex, I need to tell you something. I've been a shitty brother." "You haven't been shitty.
You've just been intense.
Like you thought it was your job to fix my life."
I did think that.
I thought that's what being a good big brother meant. Being a good big brother means being my friend who happens to be older, not my advisor who happens to be related to me. 8 months later, our relationship had completely transformed. Not perfect. We still had moments where I slipped into old patterns, still had to navigate family expectations and ingrained habits. But we'd learned to be brothers instead of playing roles in some family hierarchy. The change wasn't just in our major conversations, it was in the small interactions that rebuilt our connection. Instead of me always checking in with agenda-driven questions, we texted each other random thoughts, funny observations, interesting articles. Alex started calling me when he was excited about a photography project, not just when he needed help. I stopped trying to fix his problems and started simply being present for them. When he was stressed about money, I didn't lecture him about financial planning, I listened and offered emotional support. When he was dating someone new, I didn't analyze whether she was good for him, I asked what he liked about her and trusted his judgment. Most importantly, I started seeing Alex as my equal, not my responsibility. He wasn't my little brother who needed protection and guidance. He was a capable adult who made different choices than I would, and that was perfectly valid. Alex began sharing real things with me again. His artistic ambitions, his fears about the future, his excitement about new projects, his complicated feelings about family expectations. He started asking for my opinion when he wanted it, rather than bristling at unsolicited advice. The most profound shift was in how we supported each other. Instead of me being the helper and him being the helpee, we became mutual sources of strength. When I was struggling with work stress, Alex helped me see things from a creative perspective. When he was dealing with difficult clients, I helped him think through business strategies, but only when he asked. One evening, we were working on his motorcycle together in his garage, something we'd started doing regularly. Alex was telling me about a photography project he was excited about, and my old instinct was to ask about the financial viability and offer business advice. Instead, I just said, "That sounds amazing. I'd love to see the photos when you're done.
Really? Alex looked at me, wrench in hand.
You're not going to ask about whether it pays well or if it's a smart career move.
Nope.
I'm just interested because my brother is passionate about it.
Alex grinned.
You know what's crazy? This is the first time I've told you about a project and felt like you were actually excited for me instead of worried about me.
He was right.
I'd learned to separate my love for Alex from my need to control his life. I could care about his happiness without trying to engineer it. The moment I knew our brotherhood had truly healed was different from that night in the hospital. We were at a family barbecue, and our parents started their usual routine of asking Alex about his plans and suggesting he consider more stability. Instead of staying silent or worse joining in, I spoke up. Alex is building something really cool with his photography. You should see some of his recent work. I pulled out my phone and showed them photos Alex had shared with me, not because I was trying to defend him, but because I was genuinely proud of what he was creating. Alex looked at me with surprise and gratitude. Later, as we cleaned up, he said, "Thanks for having my back in there." "That's what brothers do," I said. "Yeah, but you actually meant it. You weren't just being polite, you were actually proud of what I'm doing."
I am proud.
You're building something that matters to you, and you're good at it. That's impressive. It feels good to have my big brother on my side instead of trying to change my side. As we finished cleaning and said goodbye to family, I thought about all the brothers out there who might be struggling the way we had, caught in old patterns, playing roles that no longer fit, loving each other but not knowing how to connect as equals. The truth is, saving our brotherhood didn't require learning to love each other more.
We'd always loved each other.
It required learning to respect each other as adults, to let go of hierarchies that had outlived their usefulness, to be vulnerable enough for real friendship. Today, when people ask me about having a brother, I tell them this: stop trying to be the perfect older brother or the perfect younger brother. Start trying to be friends who happen to be siblings. Stop trying to manage each other's lives. Start trying to support each other's choices. Stop playing family roles. Start building an adult friendship. Because here's what I learned: brotherhood isn't about one person taking care of the other. It's about two people choosing to stand with each other as equals. And that choice makes all the difference in the world. If you're reading this and recognizing your own brotherhood in my story, please know this: it's never too late to start over. Your brother doesn't need you to be perfect or have all the answers. He needs you to respect him enough to let him live his own life while being genuinely present for the friendship you're building together. The research is clear, the path is proven, and the transformation is possible. You just have to be brave enough to stop playing your assigned family role and start being real with each other. Trust me, alliance feels so much better than hierarchy.